Good afternoon, dear friends. Chairman, Global Schools Foundation, the principals of Global Indian Schools, Vice Principal Ms. Sheila, fellow parents, students. I think it's a great honor to be here. I got the best seats out here, with practically no restrictions. So thank you so much, in other words, for giving us the opportunity. I kind of forgot to bring my 50-page, speech book, but no, just kidding. I just want to kind of, speak about the topic itself. The theme of the day, which is dreams. So I had a dream last night. Well, I don't get much dreams, these days, but I had a dream where, like kids, for example, I was riding a unicorn and I was fighting in a battle with a fire-breathing dragon. I kind of slayed it. So these are, again, these kind of go to prove that none of them is real, none of them can be practical, but this kind of goes to show that dreams are really made of fantasy. Dreams of, again, stuff of incredible fascination. Many people have done, lots of research on it. It's kind of interesting to note that even animals apparently dream. There are so many songs which have been written about dreams. ABBA of our days, they sang, I had a dream of fantasy. And even, the Rihannas of today, they still keep singing about dreams. So I think dreams as it is, has caught and is continuing to catch, the attention of pretty much, everybody, any artist. So again, what is the dream? I can kind of rattle off a very boring scientific explanation, which is a dream is, a succession of thoughts, originating from the pericortial hippocampus area of the brain, especially during a rapid eye movement sleep. But what the heck, we don't care about scientific explanations. I think, to put it very simply, dreams are a succession of thoughts, and it's like unpirated DVD, movie which runs, in our brain. The only problem is we don't have a start and a stop button, because they kind of run at their own speed and kind of stop at their own will and pleasure. So in reality, there are lots of types of dreams. There are dreams which are glorious, where we become Hrithik Roshans and we become the superheroes. We kind of slay all the evils and all that stuff, that gives us the warm, fuzzy feeling. There are also those so-called bad, dreams, the nightmares, which kids go through. There are those what are called American dreams, the Singapore dreams and all that stuff. There are pipe dreams, which people talk about. And there are types of dreams, which many teachers probably are aware of, which is, the type of dreaming which the children do most of the times, in the afternoons, which is daydreaming. So there are lots of, again, dreams, which you know about. I would categorize dreams into just two broad types. One which we do with our eyes closed during sleep, and the ones, which we do with our eyes open. So stuff like Barbies, stuff like unicorns and all that stuff, or the ones, which you do with your eyes closed. That's not, of concern, to us at the moment. What I'm here to talk about is the dreams, which we do with our eyes open. These are the dreams about what, we want to become, or how the children basically dream of becoming a soldier, becoming, somebody who pretends that defends a nation and so on. So if somebody wants to become a Barbie, or become a big bar of chocolate, I guess it's not practical in reality. So that's not the kind of dreams we're talking about. We're talking about dreams which somebody like Mahatma Gandhi had, of how free, a nation India should be. Or somebody like Martin Luther King, who dreamt of how a colorblind, society should exist. So these are the kind of, dreams, which I'm talking about. So again, I became an engineer, not because, it was my dream, which I had with my open eyes. I became an engineer because my dad decided that I should become an engineer. And it's as simple as that, non-negotiable. So I'm not trying to say that, I hate what I am at the moment, but I'm trying to say that I have learned, in other words, to like, what I'm doing. Pretty much like the arranged marriages, which we have, which you at least used to have. Then you meet a girl, okay, that's kind of arranged, and you don't know much about the girl, but then you kind of, get to love the girl. So that's the kind of, stuff which I'm talking about. But, the stuffs have changed today. The world has changed. People are not talking about arranged marriages anymore. People fall in love. People get to know the girls, before they get married. Similarly, we have moved an incredible amount of distance, from those days when we had telegrams, trunk calls and stuff like that. And now we are in a world, where we have mobile phones, and I can take a mobile phone away from you for a day, and we'll just become zombies. So I think the world has changed. And so what I'm talking about here is, how has our own perceptions, our own expectations, the dreams, which we have of our children, have they changed? In other words, with respect to time, or it's commensurate with time, So that's what I'm talking about here. So I think gone are the days when, dollars used to be the only measure of success. Gone are the days with people with education only can succeed in life. I think the world has changed. App developers today are as successful as ones with fancy college degrees, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be based on dollars in terms of achievement. I kind of read about Bhutan, for example, which is not the richest country in the world, but apparently it's the happiest country in the world, in terms of they even have a happiness index. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the dreams which our children are having, how we are reacting to the dreams, and how do we ensure that in the children we help the children, in other words, to achieve or to kind of realize their dreams and to be happy, in other words, in whatever they're doing. So here we're talking about the encouragement which we need to give to our children. It's like my son, for example, in the morning he wants to be a HTF teacher. In the afternoon he wants to become a nurse. In the evening he wants to become a paleontologist. I kind of had to resist the temptation of Googling what are the career prospects of a paleontologist, for example. But that's a kind of a conundrum which we parents are in reality. Parents like, for example, I'm sure all of us here have made immense sacrifices. Again speak from my own family. My wife quit a pretty promising career in IT just because she wanted again focus on the kids. So I'm sure the working women make equally hard sacrifices. Now, what we actually do as parents, and I'm equally guilty here, is that we think that we know the best, and we kind of try to always dream on behalf of the children. In reality, so if the children were to come and say, what, I want to become like, for example, a paleontologist, and the first thing I'll say is no, that's not the right thing to do. That's not going to kind of make you successful in all that stuff. And no, you should become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. So these kind of stigma in reality. So we end up trying to force our own dreams, our own expectations onto the children.